all those people that voted for her, I honestly don't think are bad people. I listened to the reverends, many of the preachers speak to their pew. I put on my site, right, a little message that said, it will be foolhardy to believe that a woman who overtly supported voter suppression, joked about sitting in the front row to a lynching and takes a picture with Confederate objects, claiming it was Mississippi at its best, becoming U.S. Senator, is a Southern or Mississippi phenomena and not a deeper national problem. We actually owe Donald Trump a huge thank you. He has forced the country to realize that beneath that smooth, silky looking skin, this presumed melting pot had become is an infected, foul, diseased flesh. Let's fully rip the skin, the scab, disinfect the wound, and get a pregnant regiment of a potent broad spectrum antibiotic. It is more about the electors than the elected. Remember that most politicians are empty suits catering to what they believe people want to hear. I hope we concentrate on the masses and not the empty vessels. And by concentrating on the masses, what I'm really trying and hoping for is for people to start having honest discussions about this stupid thing called race, right? Because it's a social construct that it's used to really destroy, deny, all that good stuff. And for those who think that it's only the people of color that are affected by racism and all of that, that's not the truth. The reality is everybody is. You know, it doesn't matter who you are because it is used to control. I would actually say racism is actually used to really afflict pain, what I called acceptable pain on a large group of people in this country. And I'm going to give you an example, right? Let's go ahead and look at a place like Appalachia, mostly white, okay? In all these mountains and all that sort of stuff. If you notice when I do my shows, I usually say we would have really been able to control this system when we unite the barrios, the ghettos, and Appalachia. And the reason I say that is when you can get black folk, Latinos, white folk, Asians, and all of that working together and finally realizing race is a stupid construct. It doesn't make any sense. It was designed to divide and all that kind of stuff. When you can really say that, right? Those people that are pushing those messages in order to divide fail. And then you can really start attaining the things you really want to do. And I want to use Appalachia as a good example, right? Do you think you could keep a people oppressed as they are in those parts of the countries? And, you know, people say, oh, are they really oppressed? Oh, yeah, let's look at what happened with GM. GM just closed the plant, right? They just closed a plant that Trump earlier said, this plant would never close. Don't sell your homes. And we're bringing more jobs. We all know that was crap. We all knew that. But those people in Appalachia bought it up. And not only did they buy it up, but he used other cues on these guys about jobs and how things were going to go, right? So how do they keep these people in check? They keep them in check by letting them know this big mass of folk. They can look at them and say, at least you have it better than the other, right? And they've been telling these people this for a very long time. The people in Appalachia have been hearing, things are bad, things are bad, things are bad. But at least you're not black. Things are bad, things are bad, things are bad. But at least you're not native. Things are bad. All this inculcated in their minds is that things could be worse. But here's the kicker. When you have an extractive economy, when you have an economics that destroys everybody in the long run, what happens is you run out of boogie people, and then you have to create them. And how did these people get created? And these are the things that I try to put out in many of the Politics Done Right that I do, where I said, we should all be really race neutral, because what happens is where it's used, this colorization things is used against people. Here's what happens here now. So what they tell people is the following, and this is amazing, right? Okay, oh my God, those people in Appalachia can now see Oprah Winfrey. They can now see Johnson, these billionaires. They can also see all these other sucks. There's TV and the internet now, right? So in the cities that are doing much better than the rural areas, which is where their core lives, oh, these people are doing pretty well. How are we going to continue to keep Appalachia in check and still voting for us? How are we going to keep these people that we are pilfering? How do we keep them? Here's the magic. Create the new boogeyman. And the boogeyman is the other. And you bring back out that hate. The reason you are doing bad is because those other people are taking an unfair share, a share that belongs to you, your birthright. Your birthright is being taken. And when you start to tell somebody that there are these other people taking your birthright, man, do they come out and vote. Man, you know, everybody, when Beto was running, you know, Beto O'Rourke, great candidate out here running. And, you know, he's doing great in the election, right? And actually, I think Beto was really ahead. And people said, oh, Donald Trump came to Texas and he really damaged Ted Cruz and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling folks, no. Don't believe that. Donald Trump didn't come to Houston to try to get Houstonians to vote for Ted Cruz. Donald Trump knew that Harris County was up for grabs. He knew that. Ted Cruz won Harris County. Donald Trump also knew, however, that this was a big media market and that our shows get to every single rural part of this country. And those are the people he was talking to. He wasn't talking to Harris County. Hell, a lot of the people in that stadium drove in from all these rural counties out there. And then they were going back with a message. They saw their master. They saw Donald Trump. And this is what we have to do. A friend of mine who live in the rural areas called in and he said, you know what, man? I have never seen people voting like this before. Well, that's great. We want people to vote. Everybody we want to vote. But he had not seen people voting like this before. People were voting out of fear. People were voting that their birthright was being taken. Again, it's not that people are bad. It's that people are inflicted with messages. And these messages are telling them that it's existential.